Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and a very good day. I bid to Dr. Zurainee binti Ariffin, Head of Language Department of SMK Kemunim, Kota Baru, Kelantan, Miss Yang Mei Ling, Head of English Panel of SMK Taman Desa Jaya, the dedicated English teachers, all our beloved Form 5 students of SMK Taman Desa Jaya, and not forgetting the viewers of our school official YouTube channel. How are you feeling today, students? I hope you are all good and excited for today's session. Welcome to our webinar Strategi Usaha Naik Akademik, is known as Sauna 2021 for English Writing Answering Techniques. This program is part of SPM Excellent Program for Form 5 students of SMK Taman Desa Jaya, organized by Kurikulum Unit and English Language Panel. It is to ensure that all of you are geared up for SPM 2021 despite the challenges that we face during home-based teaching and learning throughout this pandemic. Now, we finally get to the much-awaited segment of all. It is a big pleasure and an honor to introduce our highly respected Madam Speaker for today. Currently, the Head of Language Department of SMK Kemunim, Kota Baru, Kelantan. She is an experienced English teacher and holds multiple credentials, most impressively, her Doctor of Philosophy in Extensive Reading from University Utara Malaysia. With her vast and extensive experience in the education sector, she has been invited as the guest speaker for many English SPM programs from schools all over Malaysia. Let us now give the floor to Dr. Zurainee binti Ariffin. Please welcome Doctor.
Thank you to our Madam Moderator, Madam Hashimah Muhajir, and also thank you to the person in charge contacting me, that is Miss Yang Mei Ling. That is the, I suppose just now you mentioned that she is the Head of Language Department, okay, for SMK Taman Desa Jaya, Johor. And also the teachers who are joining us tonight. And of course, the most important clients to me for tonight, that is boys and girls. Okay, so you're going to be with me for the next 2 hours, hopefully. Okay, I really hope that I'm going to share something for you so that as one of the students said just now, he was so nervous since the trial is coming. Okay, it's around the corner. Okay, we are trying our best so that we can focus in our paper 2 for tonight, and you're going to gain something to be applied during your trial exam later on. Okay, so we start our show for tonight, okay, for this evening, okay, by citing a simple prayer. Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Rabbi zidna ilma warzuqna fahma. Wa sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Hopefully we are going to be blessed by Allah and also God Almighty. So our session will go smoothly for this evening. So I'm going to share the screen now. So get ready because we are going to hold for a while. Okay, it's going to spin. Okay, we share the screen. Get ready with your notes. Okay, I have shared with you some of the notes that you need to have with you so that you can jot down things. Okay, just to add to the notes that I have given to you. Okay, now it's spinning. All right, just ignore this one. Okay, we take our slides. Okay, and from the beginning. Okay, so my slide is always santai, you know. I am a very relaxing person. I don't want my students to be stressful, and that is the feeling that I want to instill in you for our tonight's session. So jump right, be with me, teacher Desa from Kota Baru, Kelantan. Now I am landed here in Johor, okay, so far away. Okay, this is the things that you need to know. Every school that I give a talk, I will highlight on this. It is very important for you students of SPM 2021, and also for those who are in Form 4, if there are some here joining our program for tonight, it is very important for you to know your level of CEFR, okay? Since we are taking our SPM 2021, all right, we are taking the SPM 2021. You are the candidates for SPM 2021, which will be taken in 2022. You need to know the level of your language competency. Okay, as the SPM students, we expect you to have reached at least the B1 intermediate level and also B2 upper intermediate level. So what are these levels? Okay, these levels show your ability to use the language. Okay, you can announce yourself as, teacher, I am in the B1 intermediate level of language user. Okay, if you are talking about the CFR level. Okay, what is the proof? Okay, you need to be able to understand the main points of clear standard input on familiar matters regularly encountered in work, okay, in school, or when you are doing your leisure activities, which mean if I ask you about something that is related to you, okay, related to yourself, related to your surrounding, related to your school, related to your family, for example, who is your favorite siblings? Okay, among your siblings, who is your favorite one? Okay, you can easily tell me who is your favorite brother or sister and give me the reasons why he or she becomes your favorite. Okay, you do not have any problem of searching for what are the words, okay, what are the phrases, what are the expressions that I want to use in describing this person. No, if you do not have any problems to do so, both forms, in written form and also in oral, okay, orally, that means you can announce yourself as the B1 intermediate. But some of you might say, no, teacher, that is too low for me. My level of English is better than that. I'm going to push you up to the B2 upper intermediate level of language competency, in which you should be able to understand the main ideas of complex text. Now, we are not looking at the things surrounding you anymore. It is like we are going outside of our comfort zone, outside of our bubble. Okay, so we expect you to be able to understand both concrete and abstract topics, including technical discussions. When we are talking about technical discussions here, that means you should be able to give the advantages and disadvantages of the topics discussed. For example, if I ask you, what do you think about open burning that is happening in our area nowadays? Okay, you can give me the reasons, you can give me the advantages and disadvantages easily. Okay, you have the vocabulary, you have the structures that you want to use in order for you to describe the issue. If you are able to do that, you are the B2 upper intermediate language user based on CEFR assessment skill. Okay, and I bet some of you, because some of you are using English even at home, all right? So you are very comfortable using English, not only in writing, but also in speaking form. Okay, so that is why I bet, that is why I say this now, I bet there are some of you who have reached the C1 advanced level, in which you can understand a wide range of demanding longer text and be able to recognize implicit meaning. Implicit meaning here, not the printed ones, okay, not the printed materials only, but you understand the in-depth meaning of the text. In BM, we call this implicit meaning as maksud yang tersirat. Not only maksud yang tersurat, printed ones only, no. Okay, so if you are able to do that, you can proudly say, teacher, I think I am in the C1 advanced language competency in CEFR band. Okay, so you need to understand this band. Why didn't I touch for the beginner and A2 elementary? Beginner is meant for, okay, this one A1 beginner, we will cancel this one. This one is meant for standard 1 until standard 6. And for A2 elementary, that is for your brothers and sisters in Form 1 until Form 3. But, okay, honestly speaking, some of us, especially including my students, okay, they are still in A2 elementary level. So I need to do something so that they can polish up their language quickly to be in the B1 intermediate level, because these two levels, they are the expected levels for SPM 2021, and after this SPM 2022. Okay, that is the expectation from our Kementerian Pendidikan, the Ministry of Education. Teacher, why not C2? C2 is meant for college students. Okay, next year, inshallah, when you enter your tertiary level education and also when you are working. So you need to be very proficient in using the language. So these are the bands that you need to understand, okay, in order for you to know what does CEFR refer to. Kita tak maulah kita macam, apa CEFR ni? No. Okay, these are the levels of CEFR that you need to know. Okay, so welcome to 11191, 1/2/3 and /4. Wow, there are 4 papers all together and they are must take papers. Okay, compulsory papers for you to take for your SPM 2021. Okay, we are going to start with this. This is like touch and go. Okay, I'm going to explain very briefly about these 4 papers. Okay, paper 1, reading, 1 hour and 30 minutes. There will be 5 parts all together that you need to answer, and you are going to answer 40 questions that will give you 40 marks, which means 1 question, 1 mark. That's it. Okay, please be very careful so that you are not going to miss any of the marks for your reading paper. After that, for our writing paper, this is the focus for tonight. Okay, 1 hour and 30 minutes, there will be 3 essays that you need to answer and the total marks of 60, which means for every part of the essay, you are entitled to get 20, 20, 20, total of 60 marks, only 1 hour and 30 minutes. Okay. And then we go on to our paper 3, that is speaking test, and you are going to be very happy with this. Why? Because only 30 minutes. Okay, that is the shortest exam. Okay, only 30 minutes. The best part is that you are going to enter the exam room together with your partner. Can you choose your partner? It depends on your school. Okay, whether your school allow you to choose your own partner, or like my school, we do not allow that. Okay, we go according to the SPM index number, which is very easy for us to organize the students. Okay, there will be 3 parts altogether, only 13 minutes. Okay, just now I mentioned that the best part, you're going to have your partner. Okay, that is your own friend. And then the second best part is that the one who is going to read out the question is going to be your own teacher. Okay, who is going to be the interlocutor. Even your own teacher has 6 marks to be given to you. So why must you feel nervous? Okay, the person who is going to face you, read the question to you, is a teacher that you know of. But still, we have another teacher from another school who will not interrupt the communication between you and the interlocutor. That is what we call as an assessor. And that assessor also will give marks to you. So the total marks will be 24 marks. But my students, they said, teacher, our problem is that we are not allowed to bring any pen or any paper inside the exam room. That is their only problem, because they love to scribble their answer or brainstorm their answers first, but not for CEFR speaking papers. Okay, you are not allowed to bring any pen or any papers inside the exam hall. So everything is going to be like your brain, your mind, okay, whatever you think of the topic, and then you only have about 20 seconds to think of the responses, and then you have to speak fluently and spontaneously. There goes 13 minutes, and inshallah, God willing, you are going to get a full mark, 24 marks. And our final paper will be listening paper. Okay, listening paper, there will be 4 parts altogether, and there are 30 questions with 30 marks. Similar to our reading paper, 1 question will give you 1 mark. So these 2 papers, from the latest information that we got, okay, they plan to have it at the end of January or early February. That is for your speaking and listening paper, which means, okay, there I am referring to my JPN. Okay, JPN and KPN, Ketua Pentadbiran Negeri. Okay, they are going to have a meeting in this coming December. So they say, oh, Kak Ni, probably we are going to have these 2 papers in January. Okay, end of January or early February, which means about 3 more months to go. Wow, 3 more months to go for our real battle. And for these 2 papers, okay, reading paper and also writing paper, They are going to be assessed in March 2022. So get ready, boys and girls. Although it is said here, the percentage will be similar, 25% from each skill or each paper. But if you look at the total marks, you will see that most marks will come, okay, the most marks will come from writing paper. That is why for tonight, we are zooming into our writing paper. Okay, that is our focus for tonight. I put this into this diagram or this table so that it's going to be very easy for you to refer to. Okay, if people ask you how many papers are you taking for your SPM, you can easily answer them. And you know what are the total marks given for each paper. Okay, these are something that you need to know. Okay, now let us go into our real business for tonight. That is our 1119/2. That is our writing paper. There will be 3 sections altogether, and all these sections aimed at the A2/B2 CFR range. Now you understand why must I show you the stages of CFR just now. Okay, now in your mind you already set, okay, mentioned by teacher Zurainee just now, A2 is the lowest level, so-called lowest level for SPM, and then we move on to B1 and then B2 expected levels for SPM, and then some of us, we are in the C1 level. That is why I would include here, there will be 5% of the vocabulary and also structures that are from C1 level. Okay, only 5%, don't worry about that. Okay, with an increase in level as the candidate progresses through the test. So we will see after this, part 1 is going to be the easiest part, then we move on to part 2, which will be harder than part 1, and the hardest part will be part 3. And what limits in place for each test? But I need to make this very clear because students are going to ask questions. Teacher, what if I do not reach the required number of words? Okay, and some of the good students would ask, teacher, what if I just cannot stop writing? Okay, I just write and write until I go beyond the required number of words. Okay, for example, for part 1, that is email writing, the word limit given to us is 80 words. Not word limit, actually that is the required number of words. Okay, what happens if you do not reach 80 words? Or what happens if you go over length, you exceed the 80 words? Okay, listen to this very carefully. Boys and girls, for CFR, there will be no imposing of any penalty. Okay, you are not going to be penalized. Okay, okay, ZN, do you have any question? Because you are raising your hand.
Teacher, but for paper 2 for essay, we say we must write in 200 to 215 words, but we must not write the minimum words required, yes or no?
No. That is my answer. Okay, ZN, what you gave me just now is the example for part 3. Part 3 of paper 2. Okay, in which you are required to write 200 to 250 words. Okay, that is what I am highlighting now, my dear. Okay, word limits, although the word limits they are stated there, but then if you are underlined, which means you do not reach the word limits, or if you are overline, you exceed the word limits, it is not a problem at all in CFR. Okay, what we are looking at is how you tackle the question. But you need to remember, if you exceed too much of the word limits, remember the duration of the task. The duration is only 1 hour and 30 minutes. We are afraid if some of the students might not have enough time for you to complete the 3 essays. Okay, that is your biggest hindrance if you want to write more. But if you write without achieving the required number of words, what we are worried is that you might not give us enough elaboration. Okay, which affect one of the criteria of the marking, that is CA, Communicative Achievement, which I will explain later. Okay, so 60 marks are available in the test. I hope I have answered your question at the end. Okay, across the 3 tasks, all using a 5-band scale. If I want to be honest with you, it's going to be a 6-band scale because we start with 0. 0 marks, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So altogether, there will be 6 band scale in marking your essay. Don't worry, I'm going to go slow so that you can understand these things. Okay, again, welcome to our writing paper 1119/2. Okay, there will be 3 parts altogether, as you can see here. Okay, I mentioned just now, the example that I cited just now is about part 1. Okay, it's going to be informal message email. So that is the format that you are going to be tested in part 1. There will be no letter writing. There will be no other formats of writing, only email. And it is going to be informal email, informal message, which means you are going to write an email to your cousins, to your brothers and sisters, to your siblings, or to your friends. Okay. Informal language, we want a bit of friendly tone inside, use in part 1, okay, because you are writing to somebody that you know of. Okay, it is stated here, okay, the word required from you, the number of words is 80 words, but as I mentioned just now, no, you don't have to count the number of words. You can exceed the number of words, you can go underline, but then we will see how we are going to tackle the question so that you can get the maximum marks for each part. And then we are going to go to part 2. Part 2, it is stated here, is going to be formal text. When it is formal text, do not use contractions. Don't, shouldn't, can't. Okay, we want you to spell this in a full form. Cannot, do not, okay, should not. Okay, then only it becomes a very formal writing. If you are using contractions, we do not consider that as a formal writing. So part 2 is going to be guided writing essay. So you are required to write around 125 to 150 words. But again, that is the requirement. You can exceed, you can go underline. Still remember, time management is very important. Okay, for part 3, this is the one that our friend said just now, GN said. Okay, this is an extended text. This is where you want to showcase your language. If you want to use proverbs, idioms, and what else? You want to use metaphors, similes, all these linguistic devices, or what we call the kampung.com punya istilah dia, the term is that flowery language. If you want to use all this flowery language, this is the part that is the extended text of 200 to 250 words. Okay, you are going to learn about 4 genres, or this is what we call as text types: an article, a review, a report, or a story. But in 1 year, okay, for instance, in SPM 2021, there will be only 3 questions. 3 text types are going to be assessed. Okay, so you do not know which one. It can be an article, a review, or a story. It can be an article, a review, or a report. So any 3 of these will come out in your SPM 2021. So we cannot predict. So why not? Why don't you just don't guess, making a wild guess, all right? So we just learn things accordingly. Okay, we try to master all the 4 types of the text types that you need to know of. That is article, a review writing, a report, and a story. Okay, so this is part 3. So part 1, 1 essay, part 2, another essay, and part 3, out of these 3 text types that you are going to be assessed, you choose only one. Okay, and that will be 1. So altogether 3 essays that you need to answer in 1 hour and 30 minutes. Okay, here I would like to highlight the time frame that we are going to suggest our students to use during the exam, and you can start practicing doing this, okay, when you are doing your own writing practice. So part 1, we advise you to spend only 15 to 20 minutes. Wow, teacher, only 15 to 20 minutes. Yes, part 1 only 15 to 20 minutes. Why? Because part 1 is the easiest part, and part 1 is meant for A1 stroke A2 level. A2 stroke B1 level. Okay, that is the lowest level for SPM. Then for part 2, we would like to advise you to spend around 25 to 30 minutes only for part 2. And part 2 is meant for B1 stroke B2 level, okay, in which most of you belong to this level. Okay, and for part 3, okay, please spend around 25 to 40 minutes. That is the time that you're going to have. And part 3, the level is B2/C1 level. So you see the level they are increasing from one task to another task. So if you can follow the time frame, inshallah, God willing, you are on the right track to get good marks, and you will not say, teacher, I do not have time to complete part 3. I focus too much on part 1 and part 2, which is very wrong. Okay, remember for CFR, time management is very important. So this is how you are going to be assessed. I told my students, this is your right. Okay, this is your right. Okay, you need to know how you are going to be assessed. Zian, can I finish this one first?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Zian. Okay, for every essay, for every part of the essay, you are going to be assessed for C, CA, O, and L, which means content, communicative achievement, organization, and language. Okay, for content, we focus on the fulfillment of the task. All content is relevant to the task. The target reader is fully informed, which means if you answer all the 3 questions for part 1 without giving us the elaboration, you just answer the question, okay, without any huraian, without any elaboration, you are entitled to get 5 marks for the content. Okay, the same goes for part 2. Okay, if you answer the 3 bullet questions or the bullet task, you are entitled to get 5 marks for the content, but not for part 3. Part 3 is going to be a bit different because there is an extended text. But as long as you are answering all the tasks, you are going to get 5 marks for the content. Very easy to get full score for content. Then we move on to CA. Okay, communicative achievement. We are looking at your ability to fulfill the conventions of the communicative task, which means we are looking at the correct text type. So if you are writing an email, you need to have the greeting, you need to have the responses, you need to have the content, and you need to have the closing. Then only it looks like an email. Okay, if you are writing a report, the layout needs to look like a report. If you are writing an article, the layout, the format needs to look like an article. And I know I'm going to get the question from some of the students and even teachers, okay, who are going to ask me, okay, do we need to tell the students what is one correct way of writing a report? What is one correct way of writing an article? Okay, if you refer to our textbooks, both of our textbooks, the full blast and also our download, even for writing a report, we have 2 approaches introduced by 2 different textbooks. Okay, it is up to us, okay, which format that we want to use, as long as the layout looks like one. That is the tips. Second one, we are going to look at the correct register, whether you are using the formal or informal language. So as I mentioned just now, for part 1, for email writing, we are looking at a friendly tone, okay, the language which is a bit informal, okay, but starting from part 2, you need to sound very formal. And of course, we are looking at the correct tone. So if you are supposed to give information, when we read your essay, it sounds very informative. If you are supposed to persuade your friends, when we read your email, it sounds very persuasive. If you are able to do that, you are on your right way, on the right track to get full marks for communicative achievement. But still, we are looking at how simple, how straightforward, and how complex you communicate the ideas. How clear the ideas are explained is very important to get full marks for communicative achievement. When we are talking about the clarity here, we are talking about your elaborations. Okay, so if you compare between content and communicative achievement, content we do not touch on elaborations yet. Huraian, no, not yet. But when we are assessing you for the CA, communicative achievement, we want the elaboration because we want to see how clearly the ideas are explained. So if you are able to fulfill all this, inshallah, God willing, you are going to get 5 for your communicative achievement. Very simple, right? And organization. For organization, you just need to understand 3 things. One is about paragraphing. Okay, if you are able to use a good paragraph, you are on the right track. Second one is the use of simple connectors. Okay, there is one paragraphing. Second one is the use of simple connectors. Now you look at my jari gebus here. Kan jari teacher kan gebus kan. Okay, you will remember this one. First stroke firstly, but, because, so, or, and. I repeat. First stroke firstly, but, because, so, or, and. These 6, they are considered as simple connectors. And this is not from me. Okay, this is from the notes given by Examination Syndicate to all English teachers. Okay, we are sharing the same notes. Okay, so when I read that, I noticed these are the 6 simple that are being called as simple connectors, and the rest. Furthermore, in addition, all in all, besides, last but not least, okay, and the list goes down. They are all a type of cohesive devices. That is number 3 that you need to know under transitional words. Okay. Again, first, you need to know about paragraphing. Second, you need to know about simple connectors. And third, you need to know about a variety of cohesive devices. Under a variety of cohesive devices, there are 4 groups. Okay, 4 elements. First is the pronoun reference. I'm not worried about pronoun reference. Even when you said the girl who is sitting under the tree is my sister, she is 9 years old. When we use she, that means you have used a pronoun reference. Semua kata ganti nama is considered as pronoun reference, including this, that, those, and these. Okay, they are all under pronoun reference. Okay, that is one type of cohesive device. Another type of cohesive device is synonyms. Okay, you know what is synonyms, right? Okay, my father bought a big house. The huge house price about 1 million. Kan, angan-angan lah konon-kononnya kan 1 million. So you do not use big all the time. You use the synonym of big that is huge. So we want to see whether the students can use a variety of vocabulary in explaining about things. Okay, synonym is second type of cohesive device. Okay, the third type of cohesive device is relative pronoun. We have who, which, where, and another one. Please add in, I forget about this one, that. Okay, for example, again, I am using the same example. The girl who is sitting under the tree is my sister. My original sentence would be, the girl is my sister, but I add in the use of relative pronoun there. The girl who is sitting under the tree, is explaining about the girl. All right. So if you are able to use that, okay, relative pronoun, inshallah, God willing, you have used the third type of cohesive device. And of course, the fourth one is not a problem. You have all the transitional words that you know of. All right. So why is it important? I would like to highlight number 3. Okay, the third type of cohesive device, that is the use of relative pronoun. Most of the time, when you are using relative pronoun, without you realizing it, you have constructed a complex structure. Okay, which is very important when we are talking about this. Nampak tak? Sekarang dah pindah dah Bluetooth to the next part, that is language. L. So remember, for organization just now, paragraphing, the use of simple connectors, and your knowledge about the use of a variety of cohesive devices. If you are able to use all these, you are going to get 5. Okay, for language, okay, we are talking about 2 things. One is the vocabulary, basic vocabulary for survival. For example, happy, bye, picnic, and this one is for part 1, that is email writing. Okay, and then we are looking at the everyday vocabulary, which are the common vocabulary for such as cinema, campaign, and this one, the focus is more on part 2. And then in part 3, we are focusing on your ability to use less common lexis. Lexis means words. Less common, rarely used words in communication. Okay, you are going to ask me again, teacher, are you referring to bombastic words? No. I am not referring to bombastic words. I am referring to the less common lexis, which means the words that we rarely use, R-A-R-E-L-Y, rarely used in our daily communication, but we are going to use all these words in our writing. Okay, for example, given here, vanish, curfew, casualty, vision, they are not big words. Okay, but they are going to be used and we rarely use all these words in our daily communication. But in explaining things in written form, okay, which will make it formal, we are going to use all these less common lexes. I hope it is clear, and the focus is for part 3 for less common lexes. And for structures for CFR, okay, there are 4 structures altogether in writing English sentences. We have simple structures, compound structures, complex structures, and also compound complex structures. But the focus for CFR is on the simple and complex structures. And you are going to ask me, teacher, what happened to compound sentences or compound structures? Normally, as a good student, when you are able to write simple structures and you are able to write complex structures, you have covered the use of compound structures. And it is a bonus if you are able to use compound complex structures. So that is a learning point for you, okay, students, for you to master how to write complex structures, and also the teaching point for us, teachers, so that we are going to expose you on how to write complex structures. So if you are able to use all these, you are going to get 5 marks for the language. So the total marks will be 20 over 20. That is how you are going to be assessed for your part 2. Okay, mana dia punya arrow? Arrow teacher pun dah hilang. Okay, now we are going to our part 1, that is email writing. Ting ting. Okay, email writing. Ting ting. Okay. These are the criterion that you need to know of. Okay, if you want to score 5 for content, 5 for communicative achievement, 5 for organization, and 5 for language for part 1. Remember, part 1, as I mentioned earlier, is going to be A2/B1 level. Okay, how many minutes? 15 to 20 minutes spent in this part. Okay. So we look at the content first. All content is relevant to the task. Target reader is fully informed. So there will be 3 questions altogether. Okay, if you are able to answer all the 3 questions without giving us any elaboration, we are not talking about any elaboration yet, you are still getting 5 marks for the content. Very clear about that. For communicative achievement, we are looking at your ability to produce a text that communicates straightforward ideas. Do not beat around the bush. Okay, communicate straightforward ideas using the conventions of the communicative task reasonably appropriately. So which means we are looking at the conventions of an email. Okay, are you using all the format for an email? Okay, are you giving us enough elaborations for the content points? If you are able to do that, you are going to get 5 marks for communicative achievement. For organization, we are looking at 2 things. First, is the use of simple connectors. Remember the simple connectors? If you forget, you remember my gebus fingers. Nanti bila your teachers ask you what are the simple connectors, you remember, oh, teacher Zurainee's gebu fingers, the 6 simple connectors, all right? And a limited number of IC devices. Limited number of IC devices here, if you are using 3 or 4 of the cohesive devices, okay? You use in addition, furthermore, besides, and all in all. Cukup. Okay, there is a limited number of cohesive device. If you are able to use and, because, so, okay, which means you do not have to use all the 6 simple connectors. Enough by using 3 of simple connectors and use 3 or 4 of the cohesive devices. You will get 5 for organization. Susah ke? Is that difficult for you to use the simple connectors and a limited number of cohesive devices for part 1? And remember, the cohesive devices must be used appropriately. Jangan bantai suka hati kita je, just put the cohesive devices. No. Okay, they need to be used appropriately and correctly. Then you're going to get 5 marks for organization. Is that difficult for you to use? Okay, please understand this so that you are going to get 20 over 24 part 1. Okay, for language, this is part 1. We are looking at your ability to use basic vocabulary appropriately. Number 1, we are looking at your ability to use simple grammatical forms with a good degree of control. We are not talking about complex structure yet in part 1. But if you ask me, teacher, what if I use complex structure in part 1? You are good. But if you are using simple grammatical forms, okay, simple structures, you still are entitled to get 5 marks for language because this is part 1. Errors are noticeable. There are errors here and there, but meaning can still be determined. So you can easily, if you understand this, okay, you will see, wow, teacher, it is very easy for me to get 20/20 for part 1. Yes, that is what I tell my students. Please, students, okay, for part 1, please get 20/20. There is no reason for you to get 18 or 17/20 for part 1. Okay, let us take a look at the example here. Oh, not example. This is my formula first. Sorry. So part 1, I come up with this formula to help my students out. That is GR123C. Okay, my students, they have this. I print this out. The same thing, I print out in the form of flyer. So that is going to be very easy for them to refer to when we are doing part 1. Okay, why not after this, just print out and laminate. So that is going to be very helpful for you when you are writing for your email. Okay, part 1. Okay, I start with GR123C. That is my formula that I would like to share with you tonight. Okay, G stands for greeting. Greeting, and we have the greeting examples here. Dear and, to and, hi, hello and. Do you need to write a long greeting? Dear and, how are you? I hope you are in the pink of health. Oh no, that is a very old way of writing a letter. Okay, this one is email writing. You need to kiss, K-I-S-S. Keep it sweet and short. Oh, keep it short and sweet. Okay, remember kiss. Please make it simple, but still they are correct. Okay, so make it very simple. Greeting only 2 words, dear and done. Okay, then I come up with R, response. I put some of the example for responses there. I am glad to hear from you. Thank you for writing to me. I received your email yesterday. Choose one only, and the students can easily choose from the template here. Okay, 1, 2, 3 is referring to content elaboration. This is my way, because from the practice done by the students, I notice if the students give me 1 elaboration for 1 each content point, they can secure their marks for CA, Communicative Achievement, and also C, content. Okay, so that is why I come up with this formula, 1, 2, 3, referring to content elaboration. Why not 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10? Why? Because our content point stops at 3. There will be only 3 questions that you need to answer. That is why content elaboration, 1, 2, 3. And then, of course, at email, we need to have a closing. C is for closing here. So I put some of the closing here. Do keep in touch. Keep in touch. Looking forward to your next email. I hope to hear from you soon. Thank you for your help. Write back soon. So you can choose 1 of them or 2 of them. But I still want my students to score good marks for O, organization. Remember organization? We are looking at 3 things. That is paragraphing. Number 2 is the use of cohesive devices. And number 3, simple connectors. Okay, simple connectors, I change that to conjunction here. So that it will go to C. Okay, so I put some of the conjunctions or the simple connectors and also cohesive devices in the box. And I know some of the students would say, teacher, there are so many of the cohesive devices. Why you put only around 20? Why? Because I am going according to the assessment scale just now. The assessment scale stated that if the students are able to use simple connectors, remember the 6, you do not have to use all the 6. You use 3 on each should be enough. Plus, okay, a limited number of cohesive devices. So the students can choose from the list here. Okay, 2 or 3 of the cohesive devices. And I want them to be very confident in using the selected cohesive devices. Okay, I don't want them to simply use cohesive devices just for the sake of using cohesive devices. No. Okay, that was the reason for me to list down some of the cohesive devices only. All right. So once they get this, now let us look at the sample question. Okay, sample question number 1. You received an email from your friend Jenny who wants to know about your experience joining an essay writing competition. Hi, congratulations for becoming the 2nd runner-up for an essay writing competition. How did you know about the competition? Who inspired you to join it? How did you react when you knew the result? Typo there. when you knew the result. I am so proud of you. Hope to hear from you soon. Bye. Look at the question. It's going to be as simple as this one because remember, this is part 1. Part 1 is meant for A2 stroke B1 level of English competency. So once you get the question, what you need to do is to identify the 3 tasks. Okay, the 3 questions. So we get the question, how did you know about the competition? That is number 1. Who inspired you to join it? That is number 2. How did you react when you knew the result? That is number 3. So make sure you are answering these 3 questions so that you are going to secure your content marks 5. Make sure you are going to give the elaboration for each of these questions so that you can secure your CA, Communicative Achievement 5 marks. Okay, let us see. How did I train my students? Okay, wow, what is this, teacher? This is what we call as 1 husband and 5 wives. Okay, but here we have the husband, how much, how many, how long, and how often. The 5 wives, they are normally who, what, why, when, and where. But I give the extra wife to the husband. Okay, that is which. Okay, but in generally, we call this as 1 husband and 5 wives. Okay, why do we need to know this, teacher? Why? Because you need to use all these questions to get the elaboration. So you are going to ask questions to yourself and then you yourself will come up with the answer. The answer would be your elaboration. As easy as that. Okay, I asked my students to draw this. I know first time I asked them to do this, they were like grumbling. Oh, teacher, why do we have to do like kanak-kanak Raibina? I don't care. Kanak-kanak Raibina, kanak-kanak Sangkui, I don't care. As long as you are going to secure your mark. So they have to draw the table. And for those who have printer, they just print out the table. Okay, very easy. Okay, kadang-kadang we just ignore the voices, the students' voices because what we intend is good things. Okay, good things for to happen to them in their SPM. So I asked them to put the GR123C here and they put the formula again. Okay, at the margin GR123C. So it is very easy for them now. Greetings. Okay, they just choose one. Okay, teacher, we have chosen hello Jenny. Okay, response. Okay, teacher, we have chosen this one. Thanks for writing to me. And then they proceed to the closing first. Closing. Oh, teacher, we want to take both. Thank you for your wish and do keep in touch. Done. Okay, done for that one. Okay, and then I asked them to write content 1, elaboration 1, content 2, elaboration 2, content 3, elaboration 3. Okay, that is as a guide to them. So we go accordingly. First, content 1. How did you know about the competition? That is the first question, right? So their answer was, I knew about the competition from the poster shared by the organizer in Instagram. And I asked them one question by using what? Okay, you know about the competition. What made you want to join it? Okay, their first answer was, the poster attracted my attention. Okay, and then I said, no, please, boys and girls, you are Form 5. You are Form 5. You need to write longer sentences. So they refer to the notes again. They said, teacher, we want to use initially. That is one type of voice device. So they use initially here. Initially, the poster really attracted my attention because of the topics given. They use one of the simple connectors. So we have one cohesive device and we have one simple connector in one sentence. Done. Okay, now they can proudly cancel G done, R1, okay, R done, and point number 1 done. Okay, now we go to content 2. Who inspired you to join it? Okay, their first answer, they are very, like they want to make this very easy. So their first answer was, Madam Wan Sharifah encouraged me to enter. Or Madam Wan Sharifah inspired me to join it. That was their first answer. But after we discussed, I said, make it longer, please. And they decided to use when. When I asked Madam Wan Sharifah about it, she encouraged me to enter. So when is another type of cohesive device. It is another type of cohesive device. That is the use of pronoun reference. Okay, we have she here and we have I again here. So lots of cohesive devices used in this. Even me is considered as pronoun reference. Okay, then can they cancel number 2? Not yet. Remember, you need to have the elaboration for content 2. So I asked them again, what did Madam Sharifah do to help you? Okay, I use Another what? What did Madam Sharifah do to help you? Their answer was, she also helped me out by checking my grammar and sentence structures. And they are referring to the notes again, to the pamphlet again. Teacher, now we want to use without any doubt. Okay, so without any doubt is another cohesive device. She also cohesive device by checking my grammar and sentence structures. And it's the simple connectors. In one sentence, we have around 3. Yang tu pun kalau teacher tak bulatkan yang she. Okay, me. Okay, and all those other pronoun reference under one type of cohesive device. Okay. Done. Now they can cancel number 2. Yay, done point number 2. Okay, now we go to content 3. How did you react when you knew the result? Okay, the answer was, I screamed out loud. And then I said, please, can we use filler? Okay, this is what we call as filler. Okay, filler is very important, and filler is also considered as one type of cohesive device. Okay, under transitional words. Okay, filler such as well, of course, as you see it, as you know it, all those expressions, they are considered as filler. So here the students use of course. It was unbelievable at first, then I screamed out loud. See, there are 3 cohesive devices used in one sentence. And then, can they cancel number 3? Not yet. Remember that you need to come up with the elaboration. So I asked them one simple question. Why did you scream out loud? Why? Okay, the answer was, I am really happy because I had the courage to join the competition. Look at the ones that I have circle. They are all the use of cohesive devices and also simple connectors. Why? Because I want to secure the marks for organization, the O. Okay, now let us take a look at the final product. Ta-da! Look at the number of words, 77 words. Okay, do we fulfill the criteria of an email? We have the greeting, we have the response, we have the closing. Okay, and this one, although it was not indented, but it is still considered as paragraph. Okay, so by this, okay, having only 77 words, having only one elaboration for one content point, when I discussed with my friend, we agreed to give this candidate as, okay, that is how your teachers are going to write down at the margin of your essay. So C, answering all the 3 questions, 5 marks. Communicative achievement, we have the elements of the email there. Okay, we have the greeting, we have the what we call responses, we have the closing, and we have enough elaboration. One content point, one elaboration, and it is very clear. So 5 marks given. Organization paragraphing is there. That is number 1. Number 2, the use of cohesive devices. They are, okay, the ones that we circled just now, and also the use of simple connectors, 5. Language, it is said that use of simple vocabulary, yes. Use of simple structures. If you notice, when we are using this structure, we have used what? Okay, we have used complex structure. But remember, for part 1, if you use all the simple structures, you are still getting 5 marks. So this was given 20/20, not only by one teacher, but by 2 teachers. Okay, by only written down how many words? 77 words. You do not have to beat around the bush. You have to be very sharp, and straightforward. One content point, one elaboration, one content point, one elaboration, done. Okay, let me show you this. Okay, this is the one that one of my students, okay, she said, teacher, I want to write longer one. Okay, why? Because for her, she is good in her English, okay. She wanted to be different from her friends, from her classmates. Okay, so she said, I want to give 2 elaboration. I said, okay, you can. Okay, try to do it. Okay, she followed our greetings, our responses, our content 1, our elaboration 1, but she added this. Okay, she added one more elaboration for content 1. Okay, for content 2, she followed our discussion for content and elaboration, but she added one more. Okay, so I asked her, do you want to add one more for content 3? And she said, no, teacher, enough, 2. and I think I'm going to get good marks compared to my friends. Good marks compared to your friends. Remember what the friends got just now? 20 over 20. Now she wanted to challenge that one. Okay, look at the total number of words. 118 words. You have exceeded the required number of words. But still okay, no penalty will be given to you. And I asked my friend again, Kak Nani, come help me out, mark this one. Okay, so we mark in front of her. Okay, when we're having our Google Meet at that time. Okay, so we mark and then we agreed with the mark 5, 20 over 20. She was like perplexed. Okay, teacher, my friend just now during our discussion, only 77 words. She got 20 over 20. I added some of the elaborations, 2 of the elaborations. I still got 20 over 20 because the maximum mark is 20 over 20. Okay, why do you want to waste yourself to give us more elaborations when one elaboration is enough for you to get 5 for the communicative achievement? That is what I want to highlight here. Do not beat around the bush. Do not waste your time. You know how the game is being played now. Play the game well. Okay, so that is what I'm going to share with you for part 1. Okay, next, I'm not going to read through this one. This is another example of email. Okay, I'm going to leave this one so that you can discuss with your teachers. Ini memang yang LPM bagi, okay, the examination syndicate shared with us, also 20 over 20, but I'm not going to share this one. Ini sahaja je, nak bagi another example for email, because by now I think that you are very clear already of what you are supposed to do. So I come up with this. This is part 1 self-check. I want to be on the right track. So the students, when they are sending this to me, they have to give marks on their own. Okay, so they are going to just tick all content is relevant to the task, which means they have answered all the questions. They tick all questions are answered. Target reader is fully informed. They are very happy. They tick and then they give themselves 5 marks. I have included at least 1 elaboration for each content point. Yes. I have used greeting, responses, and closing. Yes. I have used friendly tone, for example, of course, well, as you can see it. And to make you feel more confident, I ask them to list down what are the friendly tone that you have used. Okay, so they just write down, and I have communicated straightforward ideas. I do not beat around the bush. Tak melalut sampai ke laut dalam. No. So if they are able to do that, they tick and they put tick and they have 5 marks. Okay. For organization, okay, they tick. I have used simple connectors. Remember the 6? And they are going to circle. Oh, just now I use and, I use because, teacher. Okay, I use to. So yes. I use the transitional words and voicing devices. What are they? At least you need to have 3, right? So they list down what are the voicing devices that they use. They put tick. I have checked my paragraphing. Even a paragraph, okay, only 1 paragraph for email writing, we consider that as a paragraph, okay, as paragraphing. It's okay, but I would always tell my students, please write at least 3 paragraphs. Okay, it's going to be very clear, and then you know that you are on the right track. Yes, 5 marks. And then for language, this one I need to say, sorry, I just noticed just now that I made mistake for this one. I have used a range of vocabulary. No, we are not looking at the less common lexis here. So this one is also no. Okay, I'm going to amend this one later. Just I have used a range of vocabulary. That's it. Okay, simple vocabulary. Remember for part 1, so tick. I have used some complex structure. Oh no, Zurainee, Ariffin. Kenapa lah teacher ni kan? I have used, tak perlu pun complex structure for part 1. I have used simple structures. Okay. So if you use complex structure, you can put double tick. Okay, you use simple structures, tick. And then you give 5 marks. So altogether would be 20 over 20. So when they send their essay to me with this as the checklist, and when I mark their essay, suddenly I say, no, I give you only 4. So I need to justify why I gave 4 instead of 5. Okay, that is the importance of this checklist for you. You are going to be very confident of what you are doing. Okay, you are going to be very confident that you are on the right track. And when your teachers give you less marks, okay, rather than you expect it to be, you can ask the teacher, which part, teacher, that I need to improve? Okay, which part, teacher, that I need to write better structures, or do you want me to give more elaboration on this, or maybe my sentences, they are too short, only 5 words in one sentence. So you can use this as a discussion platform with your teacher. Okay, I find this very interesting. All right, any question regarding part 1 before we proceed to part 2? Okay, allow me, I need to sip some drinks. Okay, any question you can type in the chat box, or you can open up your mic and ask me questions. Okay, ZN. Kesian ZN. Just now pun dah angkat tangan kan. Okay, ZN, your question?
Teacher, why for students in SPM format to now is 2021 compared to SPM students in 2020 or later? Why the candidates for SPM 2020 or later must write many words compared to students KSSN 2021? Can you give me why?
Okay, for the previous format, ZN, okay, for your information, we only have 2 essays. That is directed writing and also the free essays, the continuous writing. Okay, for directed writing, the number of words was not stated. But for continuous writing, the number of words was about 350 words. If you compare to the ones that you are sitting now, you are the lucky ones because there are 3 essays and then the number of words, they are very, I would say, manageable. Okay, 250 words for part 3 later on we are going to see. It is about one and a half page of your foolscap paper. So you do not have to worry about the length, Zian. Okay, do not worry about that. Okay, you are the lucky batch because CEFR, we are looking at what the students can do, not at what the students cannot do. You are the lucky ones. Okay, so please be very grateful. Okay, the changes that made by MOE is for the students' benefit, not for us, not for the teachers' benefit. It is for your benefit, Zian. All right? Okay. Any more questions regarding part 1 before we proceed with part 2?
No.
No? Okay, only Zian is with me, I guess. What about others? No? Okay, nobody is typing in the chat box, so I assume no. Okay, Lizen said no. Okay, thank you. I do not know how do you pronounce your word. Is it you get the first name or the second and the third name? Silin, Silin said no. Amira Atira, okay, thank you. So thank you, Abirami. All right, for responding. At least I know that you are with me. Now let us proceed to 1119/2 part 2. That is going to be formal text guided writing essay in about 125 to 150 words, 20 marks that we are going to catch. Okay, we want to get full marks for part 1. Okay, just now in part 1 we wanted to get full marks just now. For part 2 also we want to target for 20 over 20. This is the criterion that you need to know in order to get 5, 5, 5, 5 for part 2. Okay, remember part 2 we are talking about B1 stroke B2 level. All right. So for content, all content is relevant to the task. As I mentioned earlier, there will be 3 bullet points. There will be 3 tasks that you need to fulfill. So if you answer all the 3 tasks, inshallah, God willing, you are going to get 5 marks for the content. For communicative achievement, now we are raising the bar a bit, okay? So we are looking at your ability to use the conventions of the communicative task to hold the target reader's attention. So you need to have the ability to hold the target reader's attention and communicate straightforward ideas appropriately. Again, we are looking at how you communicate the ideas, and the communication must be very straightforwardly done. Do not beat around the bush. We do not want long essays, but unnecessary elaborations. You need to be very sharp on the dot, answering the content point. Okay. If you are able to do that, 5 marks will be yours. For organization, okay, this is part 2, so it's going to be a bit different. Okay, text is generally well organized and coherent, which means the use of paragraphing, number 1. And you are expected to use a variety of cohesive devices. Teacher, where are the 6 just now? Where are the 6 just now? Remember the 6 simple connectors? It is not scattered here. All right, this is the trick. If you only use the 6 just now, okay, the simple connectors plus a limited number of cohesive devices, your mark for organization will be only 3 marks. Okay, remember this is part 2. This is no longer part 1. Okay, so for part 2, we are looking at your ability to use a variety of cohesive devices. Remember a variety of cohesive devices? The 4 types just now? Okay, do not forget that. So if you are able to use all the 4 or at least 3 of the cohesive devices, you are going to get 5 marks for your organization. For language, now we are looking at a range of everyday vocabulary. Just now in part 1, basic vocabulary. Now we are raising the bar again. Okay, we are looking at everyday vocabulary with occasional inappropriate use of less common lexes. What does it mean, teacher? Okay, which means we are looking at your attempt to use less common lexes. We are looking at your attempt to use good vocabulary, although sometimes they are inappropriately used. For example, you are supposed to use significance as a noun. Okay, ends with CE as a noun, kata nama. But in your sentence, you use it as an adjective, significant. Still, you have the chance of getting 5 marks for the language. Why? Because your attempt to use the less common lexes, your attempt to use good vocabulary, although sometimes they are inappropriately used. So, when we are in part 2, your task is to challenge yourself to use good vocabulary. That is number 1. Number 2, we are looking at your ability to use a range of simple and not only simple structures, but some complex grammatical forms with a good degree of control. Not excellent degree of control. Okay, simple structures, no problem. Part 1, I have killed it already, teacher. Now for part 2, we want to see your attempt, percubaan kita, your effort, okay, to use some complex grammatical forms, although they are a bit shaky. Okay, the complex grammatical forms not as strong enough. Okay, for example, you forget about the comma, you forget about the use of tenses, you mix the dependent clause and independent clause when you are forming the complex structures, you mix the tenses. But still, you have the chance of getting 5 marks for the language for your attempt to use some complex grammatical forms. Errors do not impede communication. So errors are there, but then your teachers do not have to stop somewhere and reread your essay. Okay? Since the errors are too many, your teacher are trying to figure out what is my student trying to say. So she has to stop and then reread the essay. If she has to do that, that means bye-bye 5 marks, welcome 3 marks. We allow errors, but make sure the errors do not impede communication. Then only you are going to get 5 marks for the language. So remember, we say this again and again. It's like a prayer, right? Part 1, I want to get 20/20. Part 2, also teacher Zurainee say, oh, it's not impossible for me to get 20/20. So I want to get 20/20 for part 2. Say that again and again. It's going to be a good prayer for us. Okay, so I come up with this. Another formula, teacher. Yes, another formula, but they are similar ones actually. Okay, so I come up with I's 1, 2, 3, C. Okay, why I? This is the only thing that I change. Why? Because for part 1 just now we have GR 1, 2, 3, C. G stands for greeting, R stands for response. But this is an essay writing. We do not need the greeting or the response, but we need the introduction. That is why I have the I here. Okay, for the introduction, it is about plus minus 30 words, I would say. Do not go more than 30 words because we do not want you to waste your time writing the introduction. If you are writing long sentences, it is about 2 sentences. For the introduction, should be enough already. Okay, and then we go to our content elaboration. Okay, similar to part 1 just now, we have GR 1, 2, 3, C. Okay, for this one, I put the CE together with 1, 2, 3, why? Okay, my trick is still the same thing. One content, one elaboration. One content, one elaboration. One content, one elaboration. Enough. Teacher, are you sure of that? Yes, I am very sure of that. Okay, one content, one elaboration. Enough. Okay, I will show you how. And of course, this is essay writing. So we need to have our closing, that is our C. Okay, we need to have in conclusion, all in all, last but not least, finally, that is for our closing paragraph. And for closing, I would like to advise you only 10 to 15 words. Huh, teacher, so short? Yes, 10 to 15 words should be okay. Okay, around one sentence. That is for closing. And then one sentence will be our final paragraph. And remember, I also want to take care of the organization. That is why I still put the conjunctions and also the cohesive devices here for the students to use. Okay, but if you remember the marking just now, the assessment just now, it is said here that you need to use a variety of cohesive devices. So we go back here. Okay, I put in the another table here. I would like to thank our Abang Google. Okay, Abang Google gave me this from english.studyhere.com. Okay, let us take a look again. This is like a revision. I have explained just now in our early stage of the marking. Okay, I highlight again the 4 types of cohesive devices: pronoun reference, it, she, they, them, this, those, that. Okay, so all these are the pronoun reference or kata ganti nama. So I put one of the sentence there. Okay, Dina put the books on the table. Those are the ones she borrowed from the library. So those is referring to the book. So if you are able to use this kind of sentence, which means you have used one type of cohesive device. Okay, and then I put synonym. Just now we use big and huge, and here I have beautiful, gorgeous, interesting, fascinating. Teacher, why is it blank here? Why is it blank? Because I asked my students to come out with their own synonyms. Different students will have different interests, so I let them explore the use of synonyms and choose. Okay, 10. Only 10 to 15 actually, but if they can come up with 10 synonyms, that should be enough already. Okay, and I force them to use some of the synonyms every time they write essays. So by March, okay, I really hope they are going to be very comfortable with the synonyms that they themselves have chosen. All right, so why not you come up with the synonyms too and make the synonym yours. Okay, so if you are able to do that, means you have used the second type of the cohesive device. And remember the relative pronoun, and we want to construct complex structures. This is part 2. Okay, the use of who, when, where, that help you out under relative pronoun so that you are able to construct complex structures. The example given here, the bowler who won the competition trained hard. The original sentence was, the bowler trained hard. Okay, who won the competition is the relative pronoun describing about the bowler. By doing this, you have constructed a complex structure. So you have saved your mark for organization and also for language. If you understand that, you know how important it is for you to understand this. Okay, that is the third use of the cohesive devices, the third type of cohesive devices. And under transitional words, as you can see here, there are so many, and these are some of them. So it is impossible for you to use all. Be very selective. And if you see here, miscellaneous, okay, as far as we know, astonishingly, okay, evidently, undoubtedly, certainly, these are also types of cohesive devices under transitional words. Okay, I am supposed to type this so that it's going to be very clear. We do not have the watermark there, but being me, okay, konon-kononnya busy lah. I would say konon-kononnya busy. I do not have time yet to sit down and type everything. Okay, so but I really hope This will help you out in the use of a variety of quasi devices for part 2 because we want to score for our organization. All right, now let us take a look at the next one. Okay, this is the question that we are going to work on. Write your answer in 125 to 150 words in an appropriate style. Your class has been discussing how teenagers normally spend their leisure time. Your teacher has asked you to write an essay about the activity most teenagers love to do as their pastime. Even in the question, okay, you have leisure time, you have pastime. That is an example of synonym. Okay, in your essay, you should write about what kind of activity do teenagers enjoy most. Give reasons why they enjoy it. When do they normally carry out the activity? Write your essay using all the notes and giving reasons for your point of view. As I mentioned just now, for part 2, you need to look for the bullet points. How many bullet points do we have? 3. Okay, that means you are going to answer 3 tasks. If you are able to answer these 3 tasks, you have secured the mark for C, content. Okay, so look at the question again. What kind of activity do teenagers enjoy most? What kind of activity? It is singular form, which means you have to come up with one activity. Okay, look at bullet 2. Give reasons why they enjoy it. Okay, reasons with the S, which means you need to come up with more than one reason. So I would advise you only to come up with 2 reasons. Reason 1, reason 2. Oh, teacher, what if I want to come up with 3? Up to you. But my personal opinion, enough with 2 reasons. What happens, teacher, if I only give 1 reason, but I elaborate the reason very well? Remember, the question asks you to give reasons. So if you give only 1 reason, there is a possibility that your marks for content will be only 4. You miss 1. Sayang kan? Of course, you do not want to miss any of the C, content mark. So if the question asks you give reasons, you need to give more than 1. If you decided to give 3, up to you. But my advice is, please give only 2. Okay? And we go to the 3rd bullet. When do they normally carry out their activity? Oh, time frame. So only 1 time frame. 1. Done. Okay, after you have, what do we call this? Is what like, we are operating the question, okay, because we want to make sure that we are on the right track when we're answering the question. So we have this. Okay, this is my formula, ICE 1, 2, 3, C. This is the question or the rubric, and then I come up with a working table here. So 3 parts altogether here. So you're going to start with introduction. I. Teacher nak pecahkan yang I dulu. Okay, listen very carefully. For introduction, there are 2 types of introduction. The one that you are looking at now is what I call as introduction type 1. Okay, for introduction type 1, I would suggest this for those who can easily get panic attack during the examination. You enter the exam hall, okay, you are very excited. When you look at the question, it was like, mental block, teacher. Okay, for those who can easily get panic attack, please use introduction type 1, in which you are advised to use the rubric. Rubric is the question here. Okay, what you're going to do is, you need to identify the pronouns in the rubric. So the ones that I have highlighted blue here, your class, your teacher has asked you to write an essay. Okay, after you have identified all the pronouns, you change them into first person pronoun. Okay, your will become our class, our teacher has asked us to write an essay. Or you can say, my class has been discussing, my teacher has asked me to write an essay. Done with your introduction. And to make it more real, you put the time frame last week, comma, our my class, blah, 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 blah. Done with introduction type 1. Okay, that is introduction type 1. But if you are good, if you are a very calm person, you know your language competency, you are the B2 level, okay, you come out with your own introduction. Okay, write your own introduction. 2 sentences should be enough. Okay, around, just now I have mentioned, plus minus 30 words. Okay, plus minus 30 words for the introduction. For example, okay, during this pandemic, during this COVID-19 pandemic, all of us have to stay home. As teenagers, what are the activities that they like to do to fill up their time? 27 words. Okay, and that should be enough for your introduction. Okay, that is the example lah. Teacher nak tunjukkan it's not that difficult to come up with your own introduction. Okay, so if you are good enough, then you use type 2 introduction. Okay, done with the introduction. Now we proceed to our next one. Okay, now you can proudly cancel. Teacher, we have done with the I, done. Now we are going to our CE1, teacher. Yes, CE1 sayang. CE1, put the question there. What kind of activity do teenagers enjoy most? Okay, my students will write C1, E1. Okay, because I said just now, 1 content point, 1 elaboration. But you need to tell yourself, I am from 5 now. I have learned English for 11 years. I will write good sentences, but only 1 sentence each. Okay, so I asked them the question again, what kind of activity do teenagers enjoy most? And they answered me, first and foremost, I would like to share about the activity teenagers enjoy most, which is playing online games. So now they are very comfortable, they know already how to play the games. Okay, they are using first and foremost here, and then they are using which is another type of cohesive devices. All right. So I asked them another question. What makes you say so? Or you said playing online games. I am using the 1 husband and 5 wives again. Okay. What makes you say so? A very easy question, right? And then they say, I am positive about this because it has become a trend among them. So 1 content point, 1 elaboration, done. CE1. Now they can cancel. CE1 done, teacher. Yes, done. Do not waste your time. Proceed. Remember, you only have how many minutes? 25 to 30 minutes for part 2. Okay, now they can proudly cancel. I done. Introduction done. CE1 done. Okay, now teacher, we are moving to CE2. Yes, we are moving to CE2. Give reasons why they enjoy it. Remember just now I said, please give 2 reasons. But if you want to give 3 reasons, up to you. Okay, I am going to stick to my plan, only 2 reasons. So for CE2, reason 1, reason 2. But then for each reason, you need to come up with 1 elaboration. So reason 1, elaboration 1. Reason 2, elaboration 2. Okay, so they answer the question. Give reasons why they enjoy online games. The answer was, the first reason is playing online games makes teenagers' mind mentally active. You said mentally active, how so? Okay, again, they are referring to the list. Oh, we want to use in brief, teacher. Okay, so in brief, most games generally have various levels to be completed in limited time. Subsequently, taken from the list, subsequently, they learn about time management. Then, can they cancel point number 2 now? That is only reason 1. You need to give me the second reason. So what is your second reason saying that teenagers enjoy playing online games? In addition, teenagers learn to become socially active by playing games. What is the evidence? I'm using another word here. What is the evidence? Without any doubt, they interact and play with strangers online. Enough. Teacher, you said just now 1 elaboration, 1 content point. What is this? Now you have 2, teacher. You do not follow your rule. I am following my rule. This is what I call as the closing sentence. These are 2 reasons why they like playing online games, which means I am trying to close my discussion by giving the 2 reasons. I am telling my readers, okay, this paragraph, I have discussed about the 2 reasons why teenagers like playing online games. So if you have another question, for example, the benefits of online shopping, okay, you would say, these are the 2 reasons why I said online shopping is better than going to the market itself or to the mall itself. So this is like a closing sentence that tie up the discussion for CE2, content elaboration 2. So they can cancel now. Teacher, can we cancel now? Yes, you can, because you have already given me 2 reasons. So now they are so happy. They have cancelled introduction. They have cancelled CE1, CE2. Now we are moving to CE3, content elaboration 3. When do they normally carry out the activity? So their answer was teenagers will play online games every day. Okay, how long? I asked them. Every day, how long? On the whole, again, they are referring to this. Okay, they are using all the cohesive devices here. But remember, you need to use the cohesive devices appropriately. Okay, on the whole, they use 2 missing the omission, 2 hours to play games in a day. Okay, then they are so happy. Teacher, done, teacher. Introduction done, CE1 done, CE2 done, CE3 done. Remember our closing? Okay, we have closing. I told you 10 to 15 words. So the students, normally for closing, you are going to use all in all, okay, in conclusion, in a nutshell. But these students, during the discussion, they decided that they want to use all do. Okay, I accept that. Although teenagers enjoy playing online games, they still need to manage their time well. Done! Done, teacher, yes. Now you can cancel C. Okay, you have fulfilled all the elements in ICE 1, 2, 3, C. All right. This is the final product. Look at the number of words. By giving only 2 reasons, by giving only 1 elaboration for each content point. Okay, by having the closing sentence, these are 2 reasons why they like playing online games. By having the introduction, by having the conclusion, 164 words. Remember how many words for this part? 125 to 150 words. Teacher, we have exceeded 14 words. Are you going to be penalized? No, 14 words, manageable and logic. Okay, manageable. I would say manageable. And if you see here, look at the paragraphing. Paragraph 1 is the introduction. Paragraph 2 is CE1. Paragraph 3 is CE2. Paragraph 4 is CE3, content elaboration 3. And paragraph 5 is the closing. So we hit all the formula of ICE 1, 2, 3, C just now. Okay, one of the students asked me, teacher, what if I just wrote 3 paragraphs? Introduction, and for content point, I put in 1 big paragraph. And then I have a conclusion. I said it's not wrong, but then you are showing the teachers that you do not follow the common way of writing essay. Because normally for our essay, okay, we go according to the point. Okay, 1 paragraph, 1 point. That is why for CE2, we have a bigger, longer, gemuk ya, semua tambah ER. Gemuk paragraph compared to the other paragraphs. But it's okay. Okay, you don't have to count the lines. Oh, teacher kena equal ni. Paragraph 1, 2, paragraph 3, 2, paragraph 3 pun kena 2 lines lah. No. Okay, but we go according to the points. Okay. I have another checklist here. This is for part 2. All content is relevant to the task. Yes. Answer all the questions, teacher. Yes. All questions are answered. Target reader is fully informed. Yes. So I'm going to give myself 5 marks. I have included at least 1 elaboration for each content point. Yes. Check. CE1, CE2, CE3. Okay, done. I have communicated straightforward ideas. I do not beat around the bush. I do not waste my time by going out of tangent. I have hooked my readers' interest to read this. Okay, because I have elaborated straightforward ideas. Check. So I want to give myself 5. So it depends on your teacher after this, whether to give you 3 or 4, and your teachers have to justify the marks. This is your self-evaluation. I have used a variety of question devices, pronoun reference. Oh, teacher banyak I guna. I guna I, she, I guna there, I guna this, I guna that. Check. Synonym, I use only 2 synonyms, teacher. Okay, you list down if you have used the synonym. Relative pronoun, I use 1 only, teacher, that is who. Okay, transitional word, many, teacher. I have many transitional words without any doubt. I use in brief. Okay, you list down the transitional words that you have used. Okay, so I want to award myself a tick there. I have checked my paragraphic introduction done, content elaboration 1 done, content elaboration 2 done, content elaboration 3 done, and I have my conclusion tick. Teacher, I need to get 5 marks for my organization. See how you can discuss with your teacher about the marks given. I have used a range of vocabulary including less common lexes appropriately. No. This one is part 3. Cancel appropriately. Less common lexes. So what are the less common lexes you think that you have used? So list down. What are the words? 4 words should be enough. Tick. I have used some complex structures. Yes, teacher. I tried my heart. I put my effort. Okay, I have used who just now, and I am very confident that I have used the complex structure. So I'm going to give tick here. So I want 5 marks, teacher. So if your teacher said, no, you only have 1 complex structure, you still cannot get 5 marks for language. I give you only 4, or I give you only 3. That means you know, after this, I have to work harder on the use of complex structures. Okay, that is how you learn. Okay, so if you follow this, you can easily get 20 over 20 for your part 2. See now how easy it is to get 20 over 20 for part 2. Okay. Checklist, Now it is your turn. Okay, I'm challenging you this lah. Okay, I am challenging you with a similar question, okay, that you can answer. Okay, the layout, they are very similar to the one that we have discussed about past time just now. Try to write this by using ICE 1, 2, 3C, and then send to your teacher together with the checklist just now and see where is your weakness. Okay, which are the parts that you still need to improve to be able to get 20 over 20. So I'm not going to read this one. You have this. Okay, try this and send to your teachers. Okay, again, ICE 1, 2, 3C for part 2. Okay, introduction, content elaboration 1, 2, 3. Okay, then closing, the use of conjunctions and cohesive devices. And remember the 4 types of cohesive devices. Those are pronoun reference, synonym, relative pronoun, and transitional words. And there are so many transitional words that you can use. Okay. How was it so far for part 1 and part 2? Okay, just now you said no question for part 1. Do you have any question for part 2 now?
No question.
No question. Okay, allow me for a while. I need to see, this is my cat. His name is Pfizer. I need to put him outside. If not, he is going to disturb our session. Okay, bye-bye, Pfizer. You go outside first. Oops, take the cat. I know in 5 minutes time, he will climb again and enter my room. Okay, my working room. Okay. So cute, but so naughty, you know, Zahra. Teacher tak tahu nak macam mana. Every time I go online, that is the time he will come and disturb me. But not the 2 other brothers. The 2 other brothers will not disturb me during online session. Okay, continue. So if you do not have any question, we are going to go to our next one. Okay, before, let me take a deep breath and sip my plain drink. Okay, you look at the picture, tell me, what is the first thing that you see? Okay, you can type in or you just can open up your mic and say face, a man face. Women, wow, so many women. Okay, a man, a boy is boring. Read the book. A boy is boring. Okay, you saw a boy, a man. Woman. The woman is wearing a white hat, right? Reading a book. A man.
The woman sit on the chair.
The woman is sitting on the chair. Okay, I can see that clearly. This is the woman. Okay. And then some of us, they saw a man. This is the hair of the man. These are the ears. And this is like the napkin, right? For the man. An apple on the test. I love this one because one of the students in another school also answered this. An apple on the desk, teacher. Okay. All right. That's it. Okay, that is only what we call as an advertisement. Okay, you are going to go out from the school life. Okay, in 5 years' time, I would say you are going to enter your working life. Okay, your adulthood. You are going to meet lots of people. And these people, they are going to have different opinion. Okay, remember, although we are looking at the same thing, although we are looking at the same issue, sometimes we will look at things differently. What we need to do is respect their ideas. Okay, although their ideas are not similar to ours, it does not mean that they are wrong. Okay, tell yourself, be humble and respect others' opinions. That is the advertisement lah for me to take one. To catch my breath. Now let us go. Okay, let us go and proceed to our final part. That is part 3. An extended text, 200 to 250 words. An article, a review, a report, or a story, but it is impossible for me to cover all. So for our seminar tonight, okay, I am going to focus only on one text type or genre, that is a story. Okay, how to get 5? Again, okay, that is our target. How to get 20 over 20, teacher. Okay, all content is relevant to the task. Target reader is fully informed. If you can do this, you are going to get 5 marks. Communicative achievement, if you are able to use the conventions of the communicative task effectively, which means if you are writing a report, it sounds like a report. If you are writing about an article, it sounds like an article. If you are writing a story, the one that we are going to do now, we have the characters, we have the setting, we have the themes, we have the climax of the story, and we have the resolution. Okay, if you are able to do that, and we are able to hold the target reader's attention and communicate with ease. Remember, CEFR is not about beating around the bush. We want you to be very direct, communicate with ease, fulfilling all the communicative purposes. You can easily get 5 for the communicative achievement. Okay, for CA. For organization, now I am not worried anymore. If you have understood about organization in part 2, so for part 3 is going to be very easy because it is stated here, text is generally well organized and coherent, the use of paragraphing, okay, and use a variety of cohesive devices. Oh, you know already the 5 types of cohesive devices with generally good effect. Even in part 2 just now, I kept mentioning use a variety of cohesive devices appropriately. Appropriately. Do not just use them because for the sake of using them. Okay, they need to have good effect and need to be used appropriately. 5 marks for organization. Okay, but for language, it's going to be a bit difficult to score for this one. Why? Because we are looking now at the use of less common lexes, and the less common lexes must be used appropriately. Okay, they must be used correctly, the good vocabulary. No more spelling errors, no more using a wrong word class, no more. Second one, use a range of simple and some complex grammatical forms with control and flexibility. In part 2 just now we said if you attempted to use some complex grammatical structures, but you forget the tenses, you mix the tenses in the 2 parts of the sentences, we still forgive you. You are still entitled to get 5 marks for language, but not in part 3. They need to be used with good control and flexibility, which means you need to be very good in writing out your complex structures. Occasional errors and slips are still there, but the errors do not disturb the communication. You will get 5. Honestly speaking, when I have heart-to-heart talk with one of my targeted students, okay, I told her, if you can get 16 over 20 for part 3, you are on the right track. I do not want to demotivate her, but that I need to be very realistic, because I know for content he will score well. Okay, she will get 5. Communicative achievement, inshallah, she will get 5. I am worried about language. I'm not worried about organization, but I'm worried about language, because I know as a Kelantan student, okay, but not all of them. Okay, this particular student, you only use English during the English classes. Okay, not with your family members. Okay, they are not using English when they are speaking with their friends. Not like you all. Okay, Johorian is different. Okay, Kelantanese is different. They are very comfortable to use their own dialects. Okay, so it is very hard for me to increase their vocabulary. Okay, so again, students, you are on what we say advantage side, because you are using English with your teachers, with your parents, with your friends. So it's very easy for you to improve your vocabulary. So inshallah, God willing, from SMK Taman Desa Jaya, okay, Johor, some of you will get 20 over 20 for part 3. It is not impossible. Tell yourself that it is not impossible. So let us zoom into a story, okay, short story. Great writers are able to use the elements of the short story with such precision that the reader is caught up in the actions of the story. This is a mark of a good story and our goal as a writer. So if you can do this and you can write your own story, okay, when you are writing your own story, actually you are sharing your own experience. It is going to be very easy, and then you can touch people's feeling with your own story rather than you make up the story. All right? So this is the plot that we normally follow for story writing. Okay, the structure or the organization of events that make up a fictional story. We have exposition, that is the beginning of the story that introduces conflict, character, setting, and then we go up for the rising action. Events before the climax, characters attempt to solve the problem but fails, and then we go to the climax, that is the turning point. The point of greater suspense or action, then following action and events that occur after the climax, and of course we have the resolution, that is the end of the story where the conflicts or the problems are being solved. All right, the strongest stories would have well-developed themes, engaging plots, suitable character, a suitable structure, memorable characters, well-chosen settings, and attractive start. For the best result, you need to blend all this. Okay, all these 7 needs to be blended. Then only your story is going to be very excellent. Write a catchy first paragraph. Remember, the first sentence of your narrative should catch your reader's attention with the unusual, the unexpected, and action of a conflict. Bang! Even the first line. Begin with tension and immediacy, because you need to remember, short stories need to start close to their end, which means the starting is as interesting as the ending. That is a short story. Okay, if you decided to write a story. Look at the first one. I heard my neighbor through the wall. Dry. Nothing sparks the reader's imagination. You just heard your neighbor through the wall. What happens? You do not want to know. Okay, but look at the second one. Our neighbor, oh, sorry for my spelling. I mix up the American and the British spelling, which is no. Okay, for our papers. Okay, you need to stick to one. If you are using American throughout. If you are using the British spelling throughout. So our neighbor practiced cream therapy in shower almost every day. Now it catches the reader's attention. Who is this guy who goes in the shower every day and screams? What exactly is cream therapy? Let's keep reading. See, now you attract the attention of the readers. Or look at the third one. The first time I heard him, I stood in the bathroom listening at our shared wall for 10 minutes, debating the wisdom of calling the police. It was very different from staying in my previous rented house in which serenity was around me. Why did the writer want to call the police? What is happening? What is the man doing? So you want to know more. Okay, so you need to write a catchy first paragraph. Okay, these are some of the examples for grabbers. Okay, you need to use the grabbers to hook the interest of the readers to read your essays. But be alert of the time that you have. Okay, so these are some of the grammars. I'm not going to go through this. Okay, you can read this in which you can start your essay with a series of questions, or you can start with an announcement. You can start your essay with a quotation from somebody. You can start with a riddle or a puzzle. You can start with a personal experience. Open with how you felt, your feeling, and you can give some background information. So these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 ways of what we call as grabbers. Why grabbers? Because you want to grab the attention of the readers. You want to hook the reader's attention so he or she will write your essay until the end. Okay, when you are writing a story, it is important for you to develop characters. In order to develop a living, breathing, multifaceted character, describe the appearance, action, speech, thought. Bring the reader into your character's mind. Show them your character's unexpressed memories, fears, and hopes. Wow, if you can do this, your essay is going to be like marvelous. All right, look at the example here. Alia is as beautiful as a Bollywood star. Her thick, very long black hair gracefully falls down to her shoulders and encircles her diamond-shaped face. A golden suntan usually brings out her smooth, clear complexion and high cheekbones. Her large brown eyes always catch my attention. Her curved nose gives her a little girl look that makes me want to smile when she talks. And her mouth is a small mouth outlined by puffy lips that she often accentuates with glossy pink lipstick. When she smiles, which is often, her well-formed and even white teeth brighten up her whole face. I guess you can tell why I am head over heels. Oh no, spelling. Okay. Head over heels in admiring my best friend Ilya. Can you do this? Can you describe one of your characters like this? Okay, if you are able to do this, you are on the right way of writing a story. Okay, this is very important. Write meaningful dialogue in your story, which means dialogue is what your characters say to each other. Each speaker must get his own paragraph. Do not mix everything in one paragraph. For example, where are you going? John cracked his knuckles while looking at the floor to the racetrack. Mary urged towards the door, keeping her eyes on John's bent head. Not again. John stood up, flexing his fingers. We are already maxed out on our credit card. Oh no, who is saying what? Where are we supposed to stop? Okay, it is not clear. You jumble up everything. So remember here it is said that each speaker gets his or her own paragraph. Where are you going? John asked nervously. To the racetrack, Mary said, trying to figure out whether John was too upset to let her get away with it this time. Not again, said John, wondering how they would make the month's rent. We are already maxed out on our credit cards. Now you can say who says what. Okay. So remember this, one character speaking must get his or her own organized. Okay, now let us take a look at this very quickly. Stories wanted. We are looking for stories for our new section. The title of the story is The Embarrassing Day. Your story must include what happened, your feelings, what you did. So the three things must be included in your story. Let us take a look at the example here. Very quick reading. Come, let us read with me. I read quickly, you follow my reading. Okay? The embarrassing day. Everyone has been embarrassed at one time or another. It is that moment in time when you wish the earth would open up and swallow you. The anxiety and discomfort felt during that time, which may only last a few seconds, feels like time has stood still. I remember so well when I had my most embarrassing moment. I was in Form 4 and it was during the school recess. The minute the bell rang for recess, I rushed to the toilet because I had been controlling my urges since class started. I did not want to miss class because the lesson taught that morning was to include tips for the forthcoming examination. Without realizing it, I had rushed to the girls' toilet. The prolonged control and an upset stomach made worse by 2 glasses of cold milk in the morning made me grunt and groan in what I thought it was the privacy of the cubicle. I thought I heard giggling outside and wondered why the giggle sounded unusually near. A few minutes later, I came out of the cubicle and discovered my horror that I had entered the girls' toilet. To make matters worse, the few girls standing outside did not even turn away when I came up. Instead, they looked down at me, then only they turned quickly away. Horror of horrors, I had forgotten to zip up. No beetroot could have matched the color of my face at this point in time. Oh my God. So the student managed to answer what happened and also his feeling at that time. Okay, the one that I highlight yellow, they are all the use of cohesive devices. The one that I use red ink, they are all good vocabulary and also expressions. All right. Next one, what happened? The news of my predicament spread like wildfire throughout school. I was truly the talk of the town. I felt like I could either walk around feeling perpetually self-conscious and embarrassed, or I could turn the situation around, perhaps even to my advantage. I remembered my mother's words that if you can't beat them, join them. So I decided to make fun of myself, to laugh at myself too. It worked. Everyone got bored after a while and nobody teased me after that, describing about your feelings and what you did. It was indeed an eye-opening experience for me. I have learned that when people laugh at you, you should laugh along. You must not take yourself seriously. Learn to look at yourself through other people's eyes and you will realize that most of the time when they laugh at you, they just want to have some fun. Okay, very naughty, right? There mean no harm. If you can make people laugh, it is like bringing sunshine into their lives. And as someone said, those who bring sunshine to the lives of others cannot keep it from themselves. Very nice writing, right? The use of paragraphing, very clear. So again, our checklist, you know already how it is played. All content is relevant to the task. All questions are answered. Target reader is fully informed. Tick, tick, tick. 5 marks. I have included additional information relevant to the topic. Okay, this one is a bit different, right? Compared to the first and the second one just now. I have included some examples to explain some of the ideas. I have fulfilled all communicative purposes. That means I communicate straightforward ideas. Tick, tick, tick. Okay. I have used a variety of classic devices, pronoun reference, synonym, relative pronoun, who, where, when, that, transitional words, in addition, all, in all, etc. Tick. I have checked my paragraphing. Yes, 5 paragraph, teacher, and you can have more for story writing. Check. I have used a range of vocabulary, including less common. I have used some complex structures here. I am very confident of that. Tick. So far, 20 over 20. Okay. Zn said, it's a good idea. I like this story. You can change the story, Zn, and make it yours. Okay, remember girls, we are coming to the end of our talk. Remember, you are going to be assessed under content, communicative achievement, organization, and language. CAOL. All right. Okay, I put everything here for part 1, part 2, and part 3. So it's very easy for you to refer when you want to score for your essay. I really hope that these 3 hours plus, these 2 hours, okay, you really have gained something from the talk, from the sharing done. Okay, you can see, oh, it is not that difficult to score for our 1119/2, our writing paper, if we know how to do it. Okay, remember, again here, okay, you are going to be assessed based on content, CA, organization, and language, lexical and grammatical aspects of writing, and accuracy. Lexicals means the vocabulary used. Grammatical aspects means your structures, and accuracy, no errors. Okay, a response that is longer than the guideline number of words or shorter than the guideline number of words, no penalty applied for overlength or underlength responses as long as they are relevant to the task. Okay, how do you feel about our session tonight? Do you feel that you have wasted your 2 hours with me, or do you think that you have gained something from the session? Thank you, Lizen Hong. Okay, thank you so much. Alhamdulillah, Nashita, I am so happy to read this. Zian, I really hope now you have a different view about CEFR. Okay, rather than, teacher, why not the previous 3.19? No, this one is better. Okay, Nurul Jannah, Alhamdulillah. Okay. So enjoy when teacher sharing wonderful information. Alhamdulillah, thank you, ma'am. Alright, thank you, sayang-sayangku sekalian. Remember just now I mentioned that you are my most important clients. Alright, so remember, students, if you ask me, teacher, what is the secret of becoming a writer? It is always to write and keep on writing. That is the most important part. Alright, so if you want to see more on how I deal with writing, this is my YouTube channel by using my own name. Okay, you can just open up any of the videos and watch them. Okay, to get more examples of the writing part. All right, so that is the end of my talk. Let me get back to our class, Jurita. Okay, no. You are not taking my time. I am happy that your teachers trust me to have the sharing session with you. It is like I am coming so far away from Kota Baru, Kelantan, okay, to go to the most of my, kita panggil apa? Negeri yang berdaulat, right? Okay. Thank you. Alhamdulillah. Okay. We must count the number of words and jot down the number of words after we finish our essay. No, sayang. No. Please do not count the number of words because underline or overline will be no penalty as long as you are answering all the tasks. That is the keywords, all right? So if you don't have any question, I guess I have to give back the floor to our beautiful, okay, Madam Noor Hashimah. Okay, back to you, Adik.
Thank you so much, Dr. Zurainee, for sharing your knowledge and expertise with all of us. I'm sure everyone agrees that today's session has been very fruitful and beneficial. I hope all of you will apply all the tips and formulas. Still remember the formulas given by Dr. Zurainee, GR123C and ICE123C, okay, for your writing to score good marks in your English paper 2. Thank you too to the school administration for the support and encouragement in making our webinar as reality, and our head of English panel, teachers and students for joining us today. With this, I would like to end our session today. And on behalf of all the teachers, I wish all the students the very best for your SPM. Just a reminder for everyone to fill in the registration Google form for your digital certificate. And then, thank you for your time. Thank you for participating. Thank you for watching. And again, thank you so much, Dr. Zurainee, for the lovely sharing.
Okay, so see you. Okay, I'm saying bye-bye to Johor. I'm coming back to Kelantan.
Dr. Zurainee, can you please wait for a while because our head of language department, Puan Fariza, will be, Puan Farah is here.
Okay.
Hai Dr. Zurainee.
Hai,
Dr.
Assalamualaikum.
Zurainee, terima kasih banyak atas perkongsian hari ini. Walaupun saya cikgu bahasa Melayu, saya ikut daripada awal dan rasa teruja 2 jam tak terasa langsung. Terima kasih banyak Dr. Zurainee.
Alhamdulillah.
Jangan serik datang ke Johor lagi ya.
InsyaAllah will be there.
Yeah.
Facing the students face to face, insyaAllah one day.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, thank you.
Hashimah, my
Can we have a photo session before we end our webinar maybe? Okay, so we are waiting for the other English teachers to enter. Okay, for the other students, if you feel comfortable to turn on your camera, so please do so. So we have the photo special photo taking session with our beloved Dr. Zurainee today. Okay, for those who can turn on your camera, please do so. Okay. Miss Yang Mei-Ling and Madam Setia.
Okay.
Misi yang saya rasa dah ada.
Pada ada yang puan Okay, for the students wait for a while. We are having photo
Students
taking
boleh
session.
Very
Yang Insanisi, you guys are here?
Ya, saat manusia pun saya rasa ada.
Okay, so we will have the first shoot first. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay, we are waiting for the other teachers.